Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Rev Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you have joined us this morning. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those of you joining us via our live stream from home. You've joined us on a Sunday that has become our own little annual tradition. Around this time of year, I begin to notice people on the Outer Cape getting a little crispy around the edges. Toward the end of August, our patience is wearing a little thin, our fuses are a little shorter, our enthusiasm for being around other people is waning. Some of the locals are getting a little angry. It's both predictable and unsettling, and we've coined a word for it here in Provincetown. We call it Augustitus. So today is our annual Augustitus service, a chance to remove ourselves from the post-carnival fray a little, to center down within ourselves, to find a spot of inner peace that might help us make it through the next couple of weeks, and also to talk about that anger and what we can do with it, because it doesn't really help to just pretend it's not happening. So that's the plan for today. But before we begin with our worship service, I have a few announcements to share. It's a really busy week here at the Meetinghouse, and here's a snapshot of what's happening. Tonight's great music concert is entitled Broadway Goes to the Movies, Epic and Delightful Songs from Musicals in Film and Theater. We hope you can come back at 5 o'clock for that. Monday we are closed for Labor Day. I hope you are able to rest from your labors on this day. Tuesday morning, we will be having our next knitting circle. So if you'd like to join us and work on a prayer shawl, please come by at 10. And then, of course, our weekly Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday evening at 5 o'clock. Wednesday evening is our next Quaker-style worship service at 6 o'clock downstairs in Acker-Bosworth Hall. We hold this the first Wednesday evening of every month. And then Friday night, not to be missed, the Celebration of Life concert. Yeah, if you haven't been before, this is an absolutely must-see event. The night before the Swim for Life, all of the musicians who are still in town perform one piece from their show or just a favorite song of theirs for a packed house here in our sanctuary. It is so incredibly joyous. It is free. It's an incredible Provincetown tradition in its 29th year. So we hope to see you Friday night, 8 o'clock. At coffee hour today, we hope you'll stop by our UUMH action table. Each week during coffee hour, we are offering an action that you can take to support our Unitarian Universalist values in the world. I know we are all so worried about the state of our democracy right now, and the best way that I can think of to preserve it is to engage as many people as possible in the democratic process of voting. So this morning's action is to send postcards to new voters, helping them to know how to register to vote. The postcards, scripts, addresses, and stamps are provided, and we thank Indivisible for partnering with us on this. Next Sunday is Water Communion. This is a beautiful Unitarian Universalist tradition where we each bring a small amount of water from someplace important to us, and we mingle those waters to become our holy water for the year. So please bring some water with you next week. Finally, if you are attending service in person today, we hope that you will stick around after the service ends for coffee and conversation downstairs in Acker-Bosworth Hall. Let's take a moment now to affirm our Meetinghouse covenant. You can find this printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews, but I'm also going to say it line by line, so you can just repeat each line back to me. Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another. Now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you watching from home to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even while we are apart. This morning, I invite our worship host, Deb, and another Deb, 2 Debs today, to light our chalice for us.
Our chalice lighting this morning is by Francis Koziar. We light this chalice today as a people dedicated to personal growth. May it burn away the oppressions we have been taught and glow instead with the humility of learning. May it reignite our dreams for a better world and kindle our joy for simple living. May its warmth extend out into the forgotten alleyways of exclusion and bring us home to love, to welcoming, and to all the challenges, the questions, and the blessings of this beautiful path to becoming a beloved community.
Would you please join me now in singing our opening hymn? Our first hymn this morning is number 90, From All the Fret and Fever of the Day. That's number 90 in your gray hymnals. From all the fret and fever of the day. Please rise as you are able. Be seated. As we settle more deeply into our time together, I invite you now to join me in a short guided meditation. This one comes to us from Dr. Claire Roberts, a British psychologist who leads something called Generation Calm, an online community that offers some great tools for reducing stress and dealing with anxiety. After our short guided meditation and a few moments of silence, we will sing together Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the gray hymnals. You can also find those words to Spirit of Life printed on the same purple laminated cards in your pews. And we're going to sing it first in English and then in Spanish. But first, let us enter into a calm time together. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes if that is comfortable for you. Allow your mind, body, and breath to settle, kind of like a snow globe. Your thoughts slowing down, your breath growing slower. Take a slow breath in And gently let out a long, even exhale. Notice if any tension has crept into your muscles from the top of your head, your scalp, your eyes, your jaw, neck, moving your shoulders down away from your ears. Allow the relaxation to continue down into your stomach, your back, your pelvis and hips where you sit, melting away tension through your thighs, knees, all the way down to your feet. Think about how things have been for you today, and then release it. It's okay to be having a stressful day, a sad day, an angry or emotional day. And it's good to know that emotions change quickly. So what might seem overwhelming right now will soon work itself out. You can go back into the world feeling refreshed and calm. But first, allow a word to come to mind of how you wish the rest of your day to go. What is your word for today? Take another slow breath. And open your eyes as we enjoy one more moment of silence together.
Our first reading today is from Dr. Seuss. What do you want to do with the mad that you feel? What do you do with the mad that you feel when you feel so mad you could bite? When the whole world seems oh so wrong and nothing you do seems very right? What do you do? Do you punch a bag? Do you pound some clay or some dough? Do you round up friends for a game of tag or see how fast you go? It's great to be able to stop when you've planned a thing that's wrong and be able to do something else instead. And think this song, I can stop when I want to, can stop when I wish. I can stop, stop, stop anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this.
Now is our time for all ages. We don't have all the ages in here this morning, but we have some. But before I start in on this time for all ages, I wanted to check in with you about something. Because I went to see Tig Notaro the other night. Did anyone else go to that comedy show? Amazing. But I realized at that show that I am constitutionally unprepared for when comedians start to work off of the audience. When I knew she was scripted and going, planned, I was really laughing and having an awesome time. But anytime she went off book and just started working with the audience, I just wanted to go home. So I just wanted to check in with you all and see if my time for all ages are like that for you. Are any of you you see the Wonder Box and you're like, God, it's the Wonder Box. I wonder what's in it. Do any of you come and peek during the prelude what's in the box so you don't have to be surprised later? You're like, okay, you go back to your pew. Okay, guys, I don't know where she's going with it, but it's a ball of string. All right, only one person raised their hand, so I'm going to assume it's okay to go ahead with this time for all ages in the Wonder Box this morning. You can handle it, but I'm just acknowledging that there might be a little, But before I do open the Wonder Box, I wondered if Kate, there's two Debs today, two Kates today, if Kate could read to you the first two lines on this plaque that is at the bottom of this column. I don't know if you've ever noticed it before.
The reading desk of this pulpit was a part of the original structure, which was unwisely removed in 1879.
Thank you. Just store that away for later. I brought my Wonder Box today. I wonder what's in it. Friends. I think they're supposed to be farm animals, but I can't even tell what all of them are. Maybe a frog and a pig, and no, I don't know what these are. But we are talking about anger today and what we can do with the mad that we feel, right? And so one of the things we can do is to get a little stress ball. When we get mad, we can just give it a little squeeze, right? Here, I'm gonna see if this helps you. Which one would you like? There, the big. People get rewarded for sitting in front, I'm just saying. Would you like a stress ball? Yeah, here you go. So when you are mad, you can just try to give it a squeeze. But even if we don't have a farm friend to help us, we can do the same thing with our bodies, right? We can squeeze all the muscles in our body and then release. Squeeze all the muscles in our body and then release. We let out a little tension that way. We can also use our words. I want you to practice with me. I am feeling upset because. You were really tentative on that one. We're going to practice naming our emotions when we're angry. It's not easy. I am feeling upset because... Awesome. That's going to stand you in good stead this week. Next time you get a little upset, try one of those things. You can find a little stress toy, you can use your body as your instrument, or you can use your words. I am feeling upset because. Thank you.
Hello. The second reading for today is When It Really Is Just the Wind and Not a Furious Vexation by Kyle Tran Myrie. He begins with a quote from Chris Begley in The Next Apocalypse. We are preparing for the wrong disaster. He goes on to say, the year I was born, the Soviet Union's early warning radar system malfunctioned, reporting 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles in flight, a preemptive nuclear strike. You may have heard this story, right? How a single lieutenant colonel dismissed the signal as a false alarm. But what if he had made a different call in that moment? Had he seen those 5 ghost fingers as a fist, a mushroom cloud? The most dangerous cliche. I hold it in my hands on my 40th birthday, and it becomes a bouquet. 1,000 stems leading to 1,000 worlds in which cooler heads did not prevail. To 1,000 alternate universe versions of me, born in the year of the apocalypse. I see myself dead via radiation poisoning, dead via the shutdown of the supply chain, the failure of the water system, the reemergence of previously preventable diseases, dead in such manly ways, via an unlucky fall in a fist fight over nothing, via scratch ignored and infected. I plucked the petals looking for a version of me that survives, hoping to find that, leather jacket, black motorcycle, katana strapped to my back version, the warrior poet, lone vessel of vengeance, keeping the wasteland's unending tide of razor-clawed mutants at bay version, All these dead worlds, and he isn't out there. All these versions of who I could have been, and not a single hero, folk, super, anti, or otherwise. Bless you. In one life, I wore a suit of armor and drowned in the river. In one life, I hoarded food and choked on it. In one life, the basement was so full of boxes of bullets, a tornado came and I had nowhere to go. No shelter. I emptied my clip after clip into the wind. All these dead worlds, and we tell the same stories, which is not to say I never survive. Just that my survival in every reality where it is possible never belongs to me. I see myself 40, not a dual-wielding bandit warlord, just a neighbor, sitting in another endless community meeting. And how many of our ancestors have already taught us, even after the world ends, there's work to do? I see myself in that work. Not the leader, not a lone wolf, just another part of the pack. Because in every universe, which I'm alive in, it is because of other people. And I don't always like them, but I love them. In every universe in which I am alive, it is less because I could fight, and more because I could forgive, because I could cooperate, because I could apologize, because I could dance, because I could grow pumpkins in my backyard and leave them at a neighbor's door and expect nothing in return. In every universe in which I am alive, I am holding a first aid kit, a solar panel, a sleeping cat. Never a rusty battle axe or rocket launcher. Yeah, maybe sometimes a chainsaw, but only for firewood. I am holding a cooking pot, a teddy bear, a photo album, a basketball, a bouquet of flowers. Survival is not a fortress. It's a garden. Survival is not a siren. It's a symphony. And yeah, sometimes we fight for it sometimes. But survival is not the fight. It is the healing after. The soft hum of someone you trust applying the bandage. The feeling of falling asleep in a safe place.
Now is the time when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry, as we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, which this morning is, wait for it, Bullet with Butterfly Wings by the Smashing Pumpkins. We welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. I invite 3 volunteer ushers forward to take up our collection, or 4, that's fine. On and off site, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
Even
Hey, how's it going with your complaint-free world bracelets? Wasn't that just cruel of me to hand them out in August? For those of you who weren't here 2 weeks ago, I handed out bracelets that say, "Thank you for everything. I have no complaint." And the assignment was that every time we complained about something, we were supposed to switch the bracelet over to the other wrist. It was a mindfulness exercise. I'm just wondering if anyone other than Kathleen and Kim and Shar figured out that these bracelets glow in the dark? You're welcome. I paid extra for that. Didn't Jeff do an amazing job with our reading this morning? Most of you probably know him as Spike from the play that just ended at the Provincetown Theater. Thank you for being part of our community this summer. In September 1983, the Soviet Union's OCO early warning system falsely reported the launch of 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles from the United States due to a rare solar reflection off high-altitude clouds. On-duty officer Stanislav Petrov, suspecting a false alarm because a real attack would have been larger, decided not to escalate the alert up the chain of command. Had he done so, the Soviet Union's protocol at the time was an immediate and compulsory nuclear counterattack against the United States, specified in the doctrine of mutual assured destruction. Instead of following protocol, Petrov decided to wait and see if any corroborating evidence from ground radar could confirm the attack. And it didn't. The error was later identified as a system fault, and the software was rewritten to prevent similar dangerous incidents from occurring in the future. The fact that Petrov took a deep breath before responding probably avoided World War III, nuclear war. The rest of the world didn't find out about this incident until 1998, when Petrov's supervisor published a memoir recounting the incident. But when we did find out, boy, were we grateful for Petrov and his spiritual reserves. Taking a deep breath before reacting saved the world. Now, we don't have our fingers on the button for nuclear missiles, most of us, but our reactions can be pretty nuclear at times, right? Especially in August. So let's practice that world-saving tool together, the deep breath. Of all the spiritual tools we have, I think this one is the most powerful, if we remember to use it. What do you do with the mad that you feel? Start with a breath. Some of us grew up in households where we didn't acknowledge anger. We just held it all inside, right? It's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. I have that t-shirt. Some of us grew up in households where rage was the norm. Shouting was the main way we communicated. Things blew over quickly, or they didn't. Some of us grew up in households where we had to be weather reporters every time we entered a room, quickly sizing up which way the wind was blowing today. We each have our own relationship to anger, our own and that of others. But we don't talk about it much. There aren't that many places where we can talk about it, but we can here. It's okay, I promise. Let's take a look at rage for a minute. Rage, let's acknowledge it. It exists. We are angry. People are angry. Rage. There's something missing here, though. Something missing. Oh, here it is. That's better. This is it, I think, the missing part of the reflection so often. Rage has directionality. Sometimes we know that we are angry, but we don't spend the time, the extra breaths, really figuring out what exactly we are angry about, who we are angry with, why we are angry. And people take advantage of this lack of reflection on our part. Politicians especially take advantage of this. They find an angry person and they tell them what to be angry at, who to be angry at. They mobilize them. Say, I am upset and scared and mad and anxious because my life has not turned out how I hoped it would. I have not had the opportunities that I thought I would have. I am struggling with my mortgage payments. I am not being promoted at work. The world is changing, and I'm not sure I like those changes because things felt better when I was younger, and I understood the world then, was more sure of it. Where am I going to direct that anger? I'm not sure, but politicians will tell me immigrants, trans people, people of color, the elite. And so my anger goes there. And it doesn't go toward corporations or tax loopholes or the 1%. It goes toward my neighbor who doesn't speak English, doesn't have documents. It goes toward woke people. Now, in case you are feeling a little holier than thou right now because you aren't that person, stop that. We are not immune from this. We have a rage arrow too, and it is not always pointed in the right direction. We point our rage at Trump. One man. Well, you know what? One man did not change the entire system by himself. So if we point all our rage there, that is distracting us from the bigger picture, the larger work. We point our rage at the Democratic Party. They aren't doing anything. Well, they aren't actually separate from us. Yes, I'm making some very broad assumptions about who is in the room right now, but I'm guessing there are some Democrats in here. We point our rage at someone collecting money or working for a charity, a cause that isn't our chosen cause. Look, the people doing good work in the world in the best way that they know are not the problem. The people wielding their power to harm others are the problem. We point our rage at someone on our committee who's not doing things the way I would do them. Listen, yes, people are annoying. But the people working on the same project as you are not the problem, okay? They're just closer by, so it's easy to be mad at them. Instead of mad at the violence happening in the world, mad at the weapons being used and the money being spent on them, mad at governments who do not represent their people, mad at poverty and racism and starvation and war. Instead, we are like, the reading desk of this pulpit was unwisely removed in 1879. Do you know what else was happening in 1879? The first government shutdown in United States history. And you know what it was about? Voter protection. You know what was happening in 1879? A major movement of African Americans out of the South to Kansas. It was called the Exodus. You know what was happening in 1879? Women were finally allowed to practice law. You know what was happening in 1879? Electricity. The light bulb. The world was about to change dramatically. People didn't know what it would be like. People were freaking out. And you know where they directed their anxiety about it? The writing desk. The original structure was unwisely removed. Look, it's okay that we get angry. It is such a valid emotion. But we just need to, pay attention to the directionality of our rage. Point it somewhere, but notice where we are pointing it. We feel anger. That is fine. That is good even. I'm just learning this now. But we have some choices about what to do with our anger. We can direct our anger inward because shame and self-loathing are so familiar and easy. God, are we hard on ourselves? We can direct our anger outward because shame and self-reflection are actually rather hard. It's really hard when we are angry with ourselves because we made a mistake or didn't live up to who we want to be in this world. And sometimes that anger at ourselves just squishes out sideways. We can direct our anger at the first person we see or those closest to us because they are there, and then we get to release it more quickly, discharge it. Our families bear the brunt of this because they are closest most often. But sometimes it's a stranger zigzagging their bike in front of our car on Commercial Street. We can engrave our anger in gold plate and store it for future generations to look at, because that way it will last forever. Or we can do the hard work of sitting with the uncomfortable feelings long enough to figure out what they are, what direction they should really be pointed in, and how to use that directional rage not to excuse ourselves, but to fuel ourselves into effective action. Actions that reflect our values, actions that we can be proud of. In every universe in which I am alive, I am holding a first aid kit, a solar panel, a sleeping cat. Never a rusty battle axe or rocket launcher. Sure, maybe sometimes a chainsaw, but only for firewood. Look, I know this is hard. We need help with this. Anger can overwhelm us so quickly. Road rage is a thing. The heartbreak of the world is excruciating. Social justice burnout is real. Working with other people is a pain. Families are hard. Introspection is difficult. But we do have that deep breath at hand, always, if we remember to use it. And do you remember that chart that I gave out this winter about dealing with overwhelm? I was looking at that the other day, and I realized it totally works for anger too. The same tools can apply, the 6 R's. Remove. Look out the window. Excuse yourself from the conversation. Take a social media hiatus. Recalibrate. Take 5 deep breaths. Tense and then relax your muscles. We learned that one earlier. That 5-fingered meditation. Rest. Drink a cup of tea, watch a show you've already seen, wrap yourself in a blanket, sleep. Refill. Make a yummy, healthy snack, nourish your body, spend time in nature, read a book. Reconnect. Call a friend. Talk to a stranger and be kind. Send a care package. And then, when you've become centered again, use the directionality of your rage to resist. Call your senators and reps. Call someone more affected than you and show your support. Make a donation. Attend a protest. This is hard, but we can do it together. Despite all our rage, we are still just fighting for change. Amen. And blessed be. Let's sing one more time, shall we? Number 411 in our same gray hymnals, Part in Peace. That's number 411, Part in Peace. Please rise as you are able. Seated.
It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can become a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this question, we invite you to join us at our Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Please contact the office if you need that link. Our question this week is, in what direction is your rage going this week? I'll repeat that. In what direction is your rage going this week?
I'll end with these closing words. In every universe in which I am alive, it is less because I could fight and more because I could forgive, because I could cooperate, because I could apologize, because I could dance, because I could grow pumpkins in my backyard and leave them at my neighbor's door, asking for nothing in return. Let's strive to live in that universe. Go in peace.